Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 181 based on novel. So let's start. What was Luo Feng's greatest strength right now? It was the right claw of the golden horned beast with 97 blood river stones within, the beast god statue, the 3 ancient pictures, tearing sky and land, the combination of those 4. Before he went to Blood River World, his greatest strength was the Mosha Clansman, the 9 universe tablet, time-space scribbles. The Mosha Clansman studied the space laws, hence it was extremely fast. It even once resulted in Luo Feng's comprehension of the gold laws lagging behind the space laws. But now, things were different. The golden horned beast was naturally proficient in the golden origin laws. Through unleashing the right claw's first claw, its fusion with the universe energy was raised by 10 times. Its body itself was already absurdly strong, and 10 times stronger. With the fusion of space comprehension, it wasn't weaker than the Mosha Clansman anymore. With this level of comprehension of the 2 laws, when training tearing sky and land, what kind of shocking speed would that result in? This was after all a technique created by the earlier generations of golden horned beasts. It was naturally suited for it. The beast god statue and 3 ancient pictures were profound, but that's only because they had no specific training methods. Tearing sky and land, however, had a specific training method. The 2 of them resonated. Just the improvement speed alone of the golden horned beast studying tearing sky and land's first claw was shockingly fast. Especially in these few months, since he acquired the beast god statue, his own improvement speed left Luo Feng somewhat speechless. My strongest attribute in training is the first claw. In battle, my strength is being able to use both spirit reader side and fighter. Luo Feng quickly organized his thoughts. The Mosha Clansman is actually supposed to train the illusionary techniques. Instead, I'll let it work with the golden horned beast and train mainly on burial. Burial and the first claw. In terms of law usage, these 2 were the closest. This was what made burial become the Mosha Clansman's strongest move. When I get into close combat with the enemy, I'll simultaneously use my spirit weapons. When I attempted the Sky Mountain earlier, I relied on this to kill 2 of them. Luo Feng thought. In terms of close combat ability, Luo Feng was able to use 1 blade to withstand that bull man, and the 8-man spirit weapon. It was only slightly disadvantaged, and while using the Nanshan armament's 5th level, Space Slicer was actually knocked away by the bull man. Only when using the 6th level's Blade World was he able to pressure him. My close combat strength is slightly weaker than my spirit weapon, but it's not that far off. I'll focus more on burial for a while, and with the first claw's help, the improvement will be very fast. Luo Feng smiled. If he were to be caught in a stalemate using the Nanshan armament, during the critical time, he'll use the Blood Shadow Blade to close in and kill. That was akin to having a trump card when needed. How strong was Luo Feng's close combat? No one really knew. Even True Yang Emperor only knew of what Luo Feng had accomplished back in Primal Chaos City, that move that Luo Feng used to pass the Heavenly Bridge. During that time, his close combat was far weaker than his spirit weapon. As time passed, the humanity's most elite universe-level geniuses all made their preparations for their qualification battles. Luo Feng didn't dare relax either. The golden horned beast and the Mosha Clansman worked on their first claw and burial, time-space scribbles, 9 universe tablet, 9 black fireballs. He replayed all these scenes over and over, etc. Everything resonated with each other, and when he had any questions he would go ask his teacher True Yang Emperor, Luo Feng. How is he improving so quickly? Luo Feng, you are sure you can unleash this page's technique in the time-space scribbles? Show it to me first. True Yang watched as Luo Feng did it successfully. He stared hard. Madness, how are you improving even faster than in Blood River World by so much? True Yang was shocked. Luo Feng didn't dare relax even after. It had been half a year since he returned from Blood River World. Virtual Universe, Heavenly Bridge. On that beautiful island in the center, a black star-robed watchman Bevan was shocked to see Luo Feng appear out of thin air. Luo Feng, since you passed the 6th level, you haven't returned at all. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Are you going to attempt the 7th level? Bevan laughed. Luo Feng nodded. You look very confident. Bevan smiled and pointed into the distance. There's no one on the 9-universe bridge. I wish you all the best. If you can pass the 7th level, you'll have truly exceeded Bolan. I believe I can succeed. Luo Feng smiled, after which he became a beam of light rushing into the distance of the 9-universe heavenly bridge, and flying swiftly up the many levels. 7th level, this was a vast space. The bridge extended into space itself. At the end of the bridge, there floated a small meteorite that had a diameter of 1 kilometer. Luo Feng, who was dressed in his dark red armor, stood on the other end, staring at the floating meteorite. Pick your opponent. Fighter, controller, hypnotist, pick one, and if you defeat him, you'll have passed the 7th level. A hoarse voice resounded from the meteorite. Controller. Luo Feng said. A small stone broke off from the side of the meteorite, landing on the bridge itself. It rolled about slightly on the bridge before transforming into a blue-armored masked warrior who stood on a dark cloud shuttle and carried a dark golden long rod controller. Universe Level 9 youngster, haven't seen you in a while. The blue-armored man's voice was old. I wouldn't come unless I had the confidence. Luo Feng said. Very good. The blue-armored man stood on the dark cloud shuttle and roared, let me see how much you've improved, since you have so much confidence. Rumble. The dark golden long rod he carried shot out 10 million gold lights. In an instant, countless little golden blades shot in all directions, seemingly warping the entire land and skies. And standing on his own dark cloud shuttle in the distance, Luo Feng's dark golden long rod too shot out 10 million gold lights. The two of them had similar moves. The land and skies around the two changed completely. Rumble. Rumble. The vast world had blade energy revolving. This was the blade world. The blade world the blue-armored man formed clashed directly with Luo Feng's. Rumble, 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 the two worlds collided, and countless blade energy clashed. Your improvement is shocking. However, your control of the blade world is still weaker than mine by a little. The blue-armored man pointed at Luo Feng. Go! The blue-armored man gathered one thread of golden blade energy and shot at Luo Feng. My control of the blade world is weaker? Luo Feng was still very confident. Actually, 2 months ago, he was already able to form a stable blade world. The reason he waited for 2 more months was to perfectly control the blade world, and even under circumstance or pressure, to maintain his stable control of it. Why he was slightly weaker was mainly because Luo Feng was multitasking. He was using only part of his consciousness to control the Nanshan armament. He was seeing how it would go. Then now, I'll use my full focus on the Nanshan armament. If I can win without using close combat, then there's no need for it. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The surrounding blade energy erupted, seemingly strengthened, immediately pressuring and pushing against the other blade world. Simultaneously, he pointed and shouted, Go! A thread of golden blade energy shot directly at the blue-armored man. The two condensed blade world energies formed incomparably, and the piercing blades that clashed, completely dispersed. The further away from the body, the weaker and harder it was to control the blade world energy. Hence, every time it would be condensed closer to the body. Since this was the strongest point, 2 threads of golden blade energy once again clashed and dispersed. Blue-armored man, you are set to lose. After trying 2 attacks, Luo Feng didn't conserve his energy anymore, coldly ordering and pointing at the blue-armored man. A thread of gold blade energy shot at him. It's no use. You should go back and train further. Your power is close to mine. Train another 3 years and you may pressure me. Train another 10 years and you'll be able to defeat me. The blue-armored man controlled a thread of gold blade energy and shot towards Luo Feng to deflect his attack. Luo Feng stared coldly at him. Luo Feng's attack actually swerved and dodged in mid-air, not going head-on against the blue-armored old man's attack. While it dodged, it continued on towards the blue-armored man. What? The blue-armored man's expression changed. Then we'll risk it all. The two controllers matched off. Especially in Blade World, the two of them used their full strength to condense the blade energy. It was like 2 warriors holding their blades, slashing wildly at each other. This resulted in a heated exchange. If one was stronger and could block off one attack, he could then attack and kill the other. That would mean success. And Luo Feng's move was made to not even block the attack against him, but slashing straight at his neck. This was a suicidal move. It was called kamikaze. Luo Feng controlled that shot of blade energy till it reached right before the blue armored man. Its speed was much faster than the dark cloud shuttle. That dark gold blade energy reached Luo Feng too. The two of them were both facing danger. However, they had completely different methods to deal with it. A shield appeared before the blur-armored man, and he used spirit energy to block it. Luo Feng held one shield in his hand and a blood shadow blade in the other. With a roar, the blade pressured the space around, even affecting the blade world energy around it. This blade was filled with brutality, and was extremely fast. The edge of the blade glimmered gold and it slashed directly against that thread of gold blade energy. Rumble. Luo Feng felt the impact and was knocked back 10 meters. His blood was boiling within, however that dark golden blade energy was already dispersed. On the other end, the blade energy that Luo Feng controlled was as fast as lighting. The shield's movement speed couldn't keep up at all with it. After parrying 2 times, the third time, it pierced through the blue-armored man's head. His body fell down. Luo Feng looked at the blue-armored body and said softly, "We both have the blade world. But my blade and the Nanshan armament isn't too different in level. The 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge, success. Bolan, I'll take the lead." Luo Feng smiled and rushed into the sky, headed towards the 8th level. At the end of the Heavenly Bridge's 8th level, Luo Feng looked at the floating meteorite. Every 3 levels of the bridge is a breakthrough level. However, towards the end, it gets harder and harder, like the levels 19, 20 and 21, passing the 21st would make one a knight, an eternal being on the same level as the universe country leader. The 20th and 21st levels are incredibly difficult. From the 7th to 8th, the difficulty may not be as jarring as from the 6th to 7th. However, it was still definitely more than from the 5th to 6th. Trying the 8th level at universe level 9, you are indeed exceptional. Right now, in the virtual universe company universe level, there's only one who has passed the 8th level. The blue-armored man stood on the dark cloud shuttle, his eyes smiling behind the mask. Received this. Rumble. The blue-armored man's dark golden long rod shot out 10 million gold lights. Luo Feng did exactly the same thing, as simultaneously, countless little golden blades shot in all directions, immediately connecting with the space and gold laws. The land and skies changed in color, and in an instant the entire surroundings were filled with blade energy. Still the same 6th level, own world. Rumble. The blue-armored man controlled his blade world and violently smashed over. Immediately Luo Feng's side began to crumble and split apart. The blue-armored man's blade world, however, was still growing. Not good. Luo Feng's expression changed. He became a beam of light, wielding the blood shadow blade and rushing at the enemy. A dark golden blade energy formed right before his eyes and pierced right through his head. Luo Feng lost, the 8th level, failure. I actually lost like that. Luo Feng sat in his study, still shocked from before. According to the information I've seen, this should be the Blade World's omnipresent level. Nanshan Armament 6th level, Blade World was a very terrifying attack. Just like the first level, forming one golden blade, up till 9. The Blade World 2 had different levels. Luo Feng was currently only at the start of controlling it and was able to condense one thread of the blade energy. He also had to be in close range to the enemy to do it. Because, as he got further away, the control would weaken, he still couldn't control it at will. However, the 8th level opponent did it easily. He gathered his blade energy in an instant and killed Luo Feng. One had to reach a level of control of the blade world where one could easily do what he wanted, to make the blade energy omnipresent. The reason for my failure is due to the blade energy of the opponent being omnipresent, and I couldn't even defend. Even though he had passed the 7th level, he wasn't proud at all, but continued his studies as per usual. Virtual Universe Heavenly Bridge. Watchman Bevan stared wide-eyed, muttering, "The humans of the universe have trillions of races. I've already seen many geniuses. This Luo Feng, however, he actually exceeded Bolan. Bolan's talent was incredibly shocking to countless people before. Interesting, this is getting interesting. After which, Bevan sent out the news of Luo Feng completing the 7th level to the people involved, also sending it out to all Absolute Beginning and Primal Region members. Yuxiong Mountain, Primal Region, Long Yun's training grounds. In the vast training grounds, Long Yun knelt on the floor, smashing fists after fist against the hollow ground. Rumble. 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 The ground shook and his expression was heavy. Every hit smashed the ground more, until a crater was formed. I said before that I would return proudly to Swelling Water Universe country. I said that I would become an absolute warrior in the universe. I said that I would always remain within the primal region. Long Yun gritted his teeth. His eyes were filled with veins. Why, back then Luo Feng and I weren't too different in levels. However, right now I just passed the 5th level and he's already passed the 78. I won't accept it, I won't accept it. Long Yun grit his teeth. Calm, I need to remain calm. He closed his eyes and muttered softly, yes, one step at a time. I cannot let him affect my emotions. If I am distracted, I'm bound to fail. I need to remain calm, calm. Long Yun was a very low-profile person, yet no one truly dared look down on him. He was silent. He had been alone all this while. In his genius competition batch, his talent may have ranked only 20th or 30th, but his improvement speed was just as fast as Wuka's. Similarly, within the primal region, Bolan was in his villa. Bolan wielded the blood blade in his hand and he casually swung it about. However, he suddenly frowned and gently tapped the screen before him and a mail opened. Luo Feng successfully passed the 7th level. Bolan gently read it out, after which he completely froze. The blood blade fell onto the floor. The crash actually awoke Bolan suddenly. He passed? He surpassed me? Bolan didn't even care about the blood blade on the ground, silently walking into his living quarters and into his study. He sat cross-legged and stared at the photo hanging on the wall. It was of an old man teaching a youth. He sat silently, not a sound was muttered. There was a very crowded spot in the Absolute Beginning region, the arena. The area was a public arena where geniuses would often gather to spar against each other, even wagering on the matches. Naturally, both sides would wager on their fights. After all, the deaths in the virtual universe were fake, and no one dared bet too much on others. Your Majesty, I think you should give up. Your Majesty Wuka, you've already lost 8 matches today. Any more, you'll still end up losing. A group of universe-level Absolute Beginning members watching the matches mocked and laughed. In the arena, Wuka was lying flat in the corner of the arena. His head was filled with blood, as he lay there breathing heavily. Shut up, all of you! He roared fiercely. He stood up abruptly, as fresh blood stained his face red. He stared hard at the group of spectators below the arena. I'm not dead yet. After which, he stared at the distant youth with silver-white scales on his face. That youth snorted coldly, Your Majesty, you've already lose 8 consecutive matches, I think you should just leave. Bullshit, Wuka roared. Rumble. With a stomp, his entire being rushed straight against that youth, closing in until there was only 10 left. In his hands, 2 short axes appeared. He waved one of them and swung it directly at the youth. The youth with the silver-white scales immediately dodged and left 100 images. With a rumble, he immediately grabbed one of Wuka's arms and swung him around, smashing him straight into the ground. Get lost! Wuka's other axe immediately slashed right through his own captured arm, and he flung that axe straight at the youth, causing his expression to suddenly change as he dodged as fast as lightning. However, there was a slash wound left on his chest already, as fresh blood flowed. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Wuka stood there, his left arm grabbing the axe. Fresh blood flowing from his broken right arm, yet he laughed loudly. He held the axe and pointed with his left hand at the youth. Mo Yi Lin, didn't you proudly declare like an idiot before, that I wouldn't be able to even touch you? Ha ha, the youth gritted his teeth, staring at Wuka, you madman. Ha ha, Madman, Luo Feng of our absolute beginning three heroes is the true madman. I cannot compare to him. Wuka laughed loudly, after which he turned to face the group below. He pointed at them, all of you listen, the 8 of us are new here. Haven't you all just trained a few thousand years more than us? What's there to be proud of? Yet, all of you are so arrogant, saying I, Wuka, cannot even hurt any one of you? I've only just passed the 5th level and you've all passed the 6th, don't look down on us new people. After he finished, he jumped straight off the arena. The group at the side of the arena, there were 8 that were gathered. The leader was a man in a silver-grey long robe. He said coldly, Wuka is indeed a Mancha warrior, intrepid. However, newbies are still newbies. During this qualification battle, all 8 of you are entering the land and sky region. Only about 10 of the members in that region have reached the 6th level. The group of universe-level geniuses all received a mail simultaneously. We've all received something, who sent it, open it. The group of senior universe-level members in the absolute beginning region all opened the mail. What, 7th level, Luo Feng, it's Luo Feng of the 8 newbies? Many of the geniuses couldn't help but get shocked. The 6th to 7th level was too difficult, even though they were geniuses that had trained for thousands of years, only 5 of them managed to pass the 7th. The rest were still stuck on the 6th. Luo Feng? Wuka, who was just about to leave, heard, quickly opening the mail and reading the contents. He immediately stared with glee and surprise, following which he pointed at the group of seniors and laughed loudly, you bunch of bastards, have you seen it? What a genius is, what a true genius is. What about us newbies? We've only trained 100 years, what about it? Yet we are able to pass the 7th level, what about it? Ha ha, you all better remember the name Luo Feng. He's one of the 3 heroes of the absolute beginning region. Wuka smiled wide. The group of seniors all went silent. Luo Feng? The silver-grey robed man squinted his eyes, glancing at Wuka, who was wielding the blood-stained axe and leaving. To be able to pass the 7th level, I have to check him out properly. Our attempt to rush into the primal region this time, this Luo Feng has already become a threat. The honor-secret region of the Universe Mercenary Alliance was akin to the Virtual Universe Company's primal region and absolute beginning regions, a secret region which was excavated and remodeled. On a secret region, there was a desolate large planet. It was called Hell Arena. A skinny wolf-like man with yellow fur and green eyes gazed into a distance while standing on a stone. Suddenly he frowned, his brown eyes gleaming green. Luo Feng? This new batch is pretty impressive. However, the slot for the primal region is mine. Virtual Universe, Primal Region, Bolan's training grounds was currently an ice land. There was enough snow to bury a person up to his knees. Bolan sat cross-legged in the snow, topless with his eyes shut. Bolan. A cold voice resounded. Bolan stood up and the snow fell in all directions, and he turned to look. A tall and skinny man with eyes like a venomous snake, and a body rippling with origin laws, appeared in the ice land, gazing over him. Luo Feng has already passed the 7th level. Why, are you not affected by it, teacher? Bolan bowed, not speaking more. Primal region members had an undying specially catered to teach them, and according to their needs, they can even change for a different undying teacher. This one before him was an official level undying. Stupid, what a joke. The man's cold eyes gazed at Bolan. Are you so stupid that you are still insisting on your old ways, teacher? I've thought it through. Bolan bowed. Speak. The cold man said. I admit I was too proud before, and too overconfident. Bolan said softly. The study of the Universe Primal Chaos Tablet, I've decided to focus on the space laws. That's wise. The cold man revealed a smile. Just like how a parent who makes a decision for their children, but they are obstinate in their ways. However, when the child grows up and discovers that the path his parent chose for them is the right choice. One theory. Bolan's decision was a wise one. When he was young, many warriors weren't as talented as he was, hence his choice had always been right. However, with regards to the problem of which tablet to pick in Primal Chaos City, The ones giving him advice were undyings, and even universe country leaders were afraid of the genius's falling. Undyings and even universe country leaders, just how high were their perspectives? Their long eternal lives has resulted in them seeing how many generations of geniuses pass? Their suggestions were a result of their experience. Maybe, if Bolan continued down this path, in 10,000 years, 100,000 years, a million years, he would still become an absolute warrior amongst the undying. However, Luo Feng of the same generation would have far left him in his dust. Your space talent is the most absurd I've ever seen, the cold man said. Even compared to the legendary geniuses of before, just your space talent is top class. Your decision is very wise. You should celebrate having such a rival like Luo Feng in the same generation. Because of him, he's shocked you, the cold man said. Bolan was silent, his eyes however gleamed in a new way. Luo Feng, since you've made the decision, then we'll begin according to the plan I've constructed, the cold man said. The universe tablet was one that trained in space and time. However, over 1 trillion years, just how many were able to work on both space and time and improve at the same speed? Hence, there were 3 ways to study the universe tablet. One of them was to have time as the main and space as secondary. Another was space as the main and time as secondary. The last was training both at the same time. If the third option was accomplished, one would definitely be absurdly powerful, and Bolan had picked this third option before. But right now, he was picking to let space be the main and time as the secondary. Once the path was chosen right, the improvement speed would be shocking. Luo Feng. Luo Feng, hurry over. Madman, come to Wuka. Luo Feng, who was studying the 3rd volume of Time-Space Scribbles seriously, immediately received the many messages from Wuka and Rong Jun. The 2 of them were worried about disturbing his training, hence they sent messages. The virtual assistant Babata would report to Luo Feng according to his situation. The both of them, why are they looking for me so urgently? Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. After which he flew out his balcony and into the sky, gazing at the not-too-distant Wuka's villa. Within the living room, Wuka and Rong Jun sat there, facing the table with wine on it. Madman is here. Rong Jun stood up. Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Wuka was the first to rush out and welcomed him with a bear hug. What's up? Luo Feng was shocked as he dodged to the side, smiling as he looked at Wuka. Why so friendly, Madman, you are too awesome. Wuka grabbed Luo Feng's arm and dragged him into the living room. Luo Feng saw the exquisite wine on the table, especially with the 2 complex words Thunder Rain. He was shocked. Wuka, you stingy punk actually bought Thunder Rain wine? Thunder Rain wine, in reality, it was something even true Yang Emperor couldn't bear to drink casually. Even in the virtual universe, this one bottle alone cost 32 mixed elements. Meaning that this one bottle was the equivalent of an entire sector lord's wealth, drinking 10 galaxies in one go. However, amongst Luo Feng, Rong Jun, and Wuka, there was no doubt Wuka was the most wealthy. There was no other way about it, his father had such a high position. Wuka's father was one of the pinnacle figures in the Manca universe country. However, even so, he wouldn't dare spend money this way. What's one bottle of wine? Wuka said passionately as he gently opened the cork off the bottle, and pouring a glass for Luo Feng. The liquid was translucent, with crystal-like droplets floating within, and the droplets had traces of electricity coursing through them. Even though this bottle of wine didn't have the same effect as changing one's body structure in reality. However, from the body and soul, the feeling was the same. Drinking it in the virtual universe was an extreme luxury. It's just one bottle. Brother, you've passed the 7th level. That's awesome, thrilling, thrilling. Wuka couldn't help but shout. Oh, you all know about it. Luo Feng was stunned. Madman, you are shameless. Beside, Rong Jun couldn't help but say as he enjoyed the wine. Truly shameless, you actually never told us about this. Luckily Watchman Bevan sent a message to all of us. Wuka said. Damn. Luo Feng stared. This Bevan actually, ha ha ha, the message came at the right time. Wuka said, you didn't see, Since the time the virtual universe sent the message regarding the qualification battles, the seniors in the absolute beginning region who were peaceful before suddenly got arrogant and feisty. Everybody is competing to not get kicked into the sky and land region. Wuka shook his head. Those seniors looked down on the 8 of us, who are new. I was unhappy with it, hence I constantly challenged them to battles, frequently battle. Luo Feng was stunned. Wuka had just passed the Heavenly Bridge 5th level. But amongst the 30 universe level seniors, 5 of them had passed the 7th level and 25 had passed the 6th. Why cannot I compete? Our Manca people have never lowered their heads and admitted defeat. Even if we lose temporarily, we'll return to battle again. Wuka snorted coldly. Those group of bastards are all arrogant. In the end, they were still injured by me. However, this is still not thrilling. The thrilling part was when that group saw that letter and the news of you passing the 7th level. You didn't see their expressions. That was exciting. Many just stared wide-eyed with shock. Wuka laughed loudly. Back then I was mocking and laughing at them. They couldn't even retort. That's truly thrilling, hence I bought a bottle of Thunder Rain to celebrate the achievements of us newbies, and also the number 1 person of our batch. Temporarily number 1. Rongjun smiled beside and glanced at Luo Feng, temporarily number 1. Wuka nodded. Luo Feng laughed. The reason why he got along well with these two was because of their one similarity, which was that they were never willing to admit defeat. They may temporarily be lagging behind, however no one would give up and instead constantly improve. Wuka, Rongjun, I are ready to accept another mission. Luo Feng said. However, my knowledge of the missions is very low. Do you have any suggestions? The missions, naturally the higher the difficulty, the more shocking the points. Wuka said. I have some suggestions. I've already finished the 10 missions for my 100 years. Rongjun said, and these were all suggested by my teacher. The 3 of them began their discussion. Luo Feng's plan was to first pass the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge. And after, grasp the time to go do some missions. Through real-life battles and along with the training environments, he would be able to improve himself. Through that first Blood River World mission, he had gained huge benefits. He wasn't intending to do any random mission, that simply. Every mission had to have some great benefits hiding behind. It all depended on whether he could get it or not. Of course, the prerequisite was strength. The 3 of them chatted for a while. Luo Feng finally had a clearer plan of how to choose his missions. This wine is really good. This feeling is even more wonderful than the life evolution when I broke through to the universe level. Luo Feng closed his eyes, feeling the change in his body and soul. That comfortable feeling, of course these were all simulated by the virtual universe company. The real Thunder Rain was something even Wuka couldn't afford in reality. And even people like Truyen Emperor, Tongnan Emperor, these eternal beings, they would only purchase such luxuries once every countless years. This wine is awesome. It's time I attended classes. The class today is taught by an Emperor Undying, which fits me well. Luo Feng got up. I won't send you off. Go on. Rongjun and Wuka lay in the sofa, enjoying the delicious wine, not willing to get up. Training should be harsh, but one should still indulge occasionally and enjoy the luxuries of life. These 2 punks. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head, after which he became a beam of light and flew straight into the sky. At this time, within another villa in the absolute beginning region. Today's class talks about space and gold, the fusion of these 2 laws. That Luo Feng will definitely go. Mo Yilin, Usher, you 2 should go attend the class too and find a way to challenge Luo Feng to feel him out. Once we know what moves he has, we'll be prepared, and when the qualification battles come, it'll be much easier. The man dressed in the silver-grey robe said. This video will end here.